Hi, it's Catherine Sandland from White Hat Training. Have you ever worried that when you stand up and speak in public, you waffle? You go round the houses, you end up going down rabbit holes and repeating yourself and missing out important pieces of information. Uh, this is one of the key concerns that people have when they come and talk to me. And what they're wanting is they want to be clear, they want to be concise, but they worry that they easily get distracted in and on the moment. So here are three things that you might want to consider if you're worried that you waffle. And I'm going to use the analogy of driving a car. Driving a car without a sat nav and driving a car with a sat nav. So imagine you're wanting to go to a particular destination and you know where it is vaguely. You haven't quite taken that route before, but you've got a good idea where you might be going, and you set off in the car without the sat nav. And you'll probably get there. But along the way, you might have taken a very inefficient route. Maybe you've gone round a roundabout a couple of times while you worked out which of the main roads you were taking. Perhaps you got stuck in a traffic jam that you didn't know was there, or a road that was under renovation. And maybe you missed out on a really pretty route that would have really made the journey extra special. So you get there, but it's been a bit of a circuitous, easy for some to say, route to get there. That's a bit like when we stand up and we know the destination, we know where we're going to start and where we're going to finish, but we haven't quite worked out what the route is. And that's where we end up waffling. We end up getting caught up in a particular issue that we get stuck on, or maybe we miss out something, or maybe we fail to add something that really brings our talk alive, or our message emphasised and bring home to the audience. And we miss out on that opportunity because we're sort of working it out as we go along. If we're driving with a sat nav, though, and we know where we're going, but we put it in the sat nav, then, and assuming it's a good sat nav, by the way, then we will know what that route is. We know that we will get there. And actually, the sat nav will avoid the roadworks. It will take us on a perhaps pretty route or the most efficient route. And we can be really confident that we'll get there, and we'll get there in the best way. So when you're preparing a presentation, know what your destination is, know what your end point is, know what it is that you want to achieve, and work out a route map that will get you there. Now that leads me on to my second way of avoiding waffle, which is not just to set the destination and have a route map, but to be quite specific about the milestones along the course of that journey. So not just I want to get to here, but also I want to get to here via this point, and this point. In other words, breaking your talk down into digestible chunks and setting a destination for each of those chunks. If we use the sat-nav analogy again, I might put in my sat-nav, I'd like to go to Glasgow, but I'd like to go via Preston, Carlisle, and a very tiny village just outside Glasgow. And by being very specific about that, I know that my journey will go through those particular places. If I wasn't as specific about that, the sat-nav might create a route for me that will get me to Glasgow, but might miss out on some of those places. So when you're planning your presentation, as well as that destination, think to yourself, well, along the way, what else does my audience need to understand? What would be helpful for them to have a perspective on? Where do we need to visit together in order to get to that destination? However, despite all of those, arguably the biggest way of cutting a waffle is to understand the outcome that you want from your presentation. Now, that's not just the destination, that's a bit bigger than that. It's going, why are you delivering the presentation in the first place? What's your overall outcome? And importantly for your audience, what's the takeaway that you want them to go away with? What's the why behind your talk? And what's the core message that you need the audience to understand in order for you to get the outcome that you want? When you have that outcome, it makes sense of the destination. It makes the journey more straightforward. It will actually help you work out what those milestones are in between the start and the end. So if you want to cut out the waffle, know where you're going, know how you're going to get there, and understand why you're taking the journey in the first place.